You know those rabbit holes you fall down online? The forgotten corners of the internet? Where old forums gather dust and dead links lead to nowhere. That's where it started. A late night. A random search for abandoned web projects. And then a single obscure link. It led to this. An ancient-looking web page. Just a black background, some pixelated text, and a single embedded audio player. No title, no description, just a play button. Curiosity, that insidious little devil, made me click. What came out wasn't music. Not really. It was static. But not just ordinary static. This was active static. It had a texture, a presence, and underneath it, barely there, was this sound, like an old broken music box playing something mournful, or maybe something else entirely. Something that felt like it was playing from a very long time ago. And then the whispers, faint, like a dozen conversations happening just beyond a closed door. But all at once, it was unsettling, deeply unsettling. But for some reason, I didn't close the tab. I just listened. And that, I now realize, was my first mistake. I'd usually just have it playing in the background while I was doing other things. Browse, writing, just scrolling. It became this weird ambient noise, a digital ghost from the past. And for a while, it was just that. Strange, but harmless. Then, the coincidences started. Little things at first. One evening, I was struggling to open a stubborn jar of pickles. Seriously, the most mundane thing imaginable. And as I finally got it to pop open, a sharp, popping sound effect, almost like a cork exploding, suddenly played over the broadcast. I laughed it off. Just a coincidence. My brain looking for patterns where there weren't any. Another time, I was out on my balcony, late, watching a thunderstorm roll in. I remember thinking about how the distant thunder was rumbling like an old, unhappy stomach. And right as that thought crossed my mind, the broadcast went completely silent, only to be replaced by a deep, resonant rumble that mirrored the thunder exactly. It lingered for a few seconds, then vanished, and the music box came back. I felt a prickle on my neck. Still, I told myself, it's just a sound library, random samples playing out. But the feeling of being watched, of something aligning with my reality, grew stronger. I'd be looking at a specific object in my room, say an old dusty photograph, and the broadcast would play a click, like a camera shutter, followed by a fragment of a child's laughter, muffled and tinny, as if coming from inside the photo itself. It wasn't just random anymore. It felt personal, like it knew. And that's when the unease started to become something much colder, much more real. I tried to rationalize it, convinced myself I was sleep-deprived, or that my imagination was just getting the better of me. But then came the night it all shattered. The night I knew, without a shadow of a doubt, that this wasn't coincidence. This was listening. I was doing something I only ever do when I'm completely alone. A nervous habit. I fidget with a specific old silver locket my grandmother gave me, spinning it around my thumb when I'm in deep thought. It's a quiet, unconscious thing. Nobody sees it. Nobody knows about it. And then, from the speakers, the music box melody faded completely. All that was left was the static, the hum, and then a sound that made my blood run cold. It was the distinct click of metal on metal, the exact, precise sound of my locket spinning on my thumb. And it wasn't just a random sound effect. It was synchronized, perfectly, terrifyingly synchronized. Every spin I made, the click echoed from the broadcast. I plunged into a frantic search. I tried everything, ran every antivirus, every spyware scanner. Nothing. I tried to trace the IP address of that ancient webpage, and it led to a dead end. A server that hadn't been active in over 2 decades, located in a town that literally didn't exist anymore. I scoured the deep web, revisited every dark corner of every forum I'd ever been on, looking for anyone else who had found this perpetual broadcast. Nothing. It was like I was the only person in the world who could hear it, who had found this cursed frequency. The longer I searched, the more paranoid I became. Every time I hit a dead link, the static on the broadcast would intensify, as if it was mocking my futility. When I searched the static for the name of the long-dead town, a brief, high-pitched screech would cut through the broadcast, then vanish. Then came the night I tried to just pull the plug. Literally, I unplugged my router, shut down my computer, even removed the power cord. I wanted silence. I wanted it gone. I sat in the dark, heart pounding, listening to the oppressive quiet. For about 30 seconds, I thought I was free. But then, from somewhere in the absolute darkness of my room, I heard it, clear as day. That familiar, distorted music box melody, accompanied by the low, insistent hum. It wasn't coming from my computer. It was just there, playing. I was past panic. This wasn't a broadcast from a website. This wasn't some old data stream. This was something else. It was in my walls, in the air, maybe even in my head. I sat hunched in the dark, my breath catching in my throat, trying to pinpoint the source of the sound. It pulsed. It shifted. It seemed to follow my every movement, my every thought. And then, the ultimate horror. The static screamed, then momentarily cleared. The music box faded, and from the speakers, or from the darkness around me, I heard it. My own voice. Not a recording of me speaking, but my voice, warped and stretched, saying things I'd only ever thought, things I'd never spoken aloud. It was twisted, distorted, speaking my private fears, my deepest anxieties, my most fleeting, secret thoughts, all in my own horrifying, corrupted tone. It was playing me. I screamed. I didn't know I could make a sound like that. I covered my ears, but it didn't help. The sound wasn't coming from outside anymore. It was inside. It was the broadcast. It was inside my head. It knew everything. It was everything. It never stopped. I tried to leave. I tried to run. But no matter where I go, no matter what I do, just there, just beneath the surface of all other sound, the hum, the static, the whispers, and every now and then, my own voice, speaking secrets no one should ever know. It's listening. It's always listening. And it's never, ever gonna turn off.